All right. We're back. We're back, baby.
Welcome back, everybody.
Segment 2 of what episode? I didn't properly introduce. Are we on 20 or 8? No, we're on 19.
We are on 19, yeah.
No, episode 19 of the American Fan Podcast, the Fletch and Nick Show. Today we got Morgan in the house. Morgan's in the background.
As always.
Well, not as always, but today, yeah. But I mean, that's it's always fun when she stops by to, harass everybody with her kindred spirit. The second segment, we were going to talk a little bit about some of the political stuff that's going on.
Just because of how recent it is, like in the last 5 days or so.
Yeah, literally the last week, a lot of stuff has come out involving Venezuela. I know you really wanted to talk about it.
Just because of how recent it is, I want to try to nail it as fast as we can before it leaves the news cycle.
Sure.
And plus, people are probably going to be like, well, why didn't you guys talk about Venezuela? It's a pretty big deal. Well, here we are.
It is a pretty big deal, and there's some crazy facts that not a lot of people... I did a little bit of digging, and not a lot of people know the real reason, not the surface reason that the government is giving you, just like the Charlie Kirk situation. Oh, it's Tyler Robinson with a 30-06, and yeah, he made the miracle shot, and it stopped in Charlie Kirk's neck because he has really strong bones. No, that's not the real story of what happened with Charlie Kirk, and that the real story of what's happening in Venezuela, why there's U.S. involvement, is pretty disturbing. So we'll get to that in a second. You wanted to lead in, give your opinion, your 2 cents on the whole Venezuela situation. You know, we bombed some fishing boats. We bombed the country.
So I'm not as... I ignore a lot of stuff that I feel people are using as a distraction. So when they say Venezuela, I'm just like... I kind of just shrug it off because I'm like, they're using it as a distraction from Trump's, downfall and stuff like that. And then hearing just even the little tidbits of information I got from it, I'm disgusted by it. I mean, I don't know how to feel about, I will say this right now. I think the U.S. needed an extreme approach to immigration, such as, when it comes to drugs, when it comes to immigration, that anyone who's trying to, infiltrate our borders or smuggle stuff in, they need to be taken out. I don't fully agree with that position. That sounds like a neocon position, but I do think stuff has had to be done. And again, a hot take, one of the few things I agree with the Trump administration on is the way they've handled immigration. Now, I think he should have done more, and I think, and I've already made this clear, I'm not going to get into this. I do think both sides can come together on an issue to solve immigration as an issue. The problem is they both want an issue for an election. So that's just not going to happen. What's really getting to me, and I don't remember where I saw this quote, I just know that one of my commentators tweeted about it. And that's when what really is turning me off about this is Marco Rubio saying that our involvement with Venezuela is really good for Israel. And I'm like, okay, but is it good for us?
No.
So that right there
is great for the government.
Given how recent it is, and just hearing that, and you're also better with the research than I am. You even told me some stuff regarding that. It definitely ties to Israel. And look, as you said before we started recording this, look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I really don't. When people throw that term around, I've made this joke before and I'll make it again, that the difference between conspiracy theory and the truth is 6 months to a year. That's the difference in 2025, well, now 2026. That's the difference between the two. Now, there are plenty of theories that haven't come to fruition, like MTG Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that California fires were caused by Jewish space lasers, or Milo Yiannopoulos saying that Charlie Kirk isn't really dead. I disprove. Or in 2024, when North Carolina was going through those hurricanes in the 2024 election, and conservatives were saying that it was because of weather machines. I'm like, okay, guys, or here's a funny one. I'm not making this up. I've never said this on the pod. someone in Ohio was trying to say that Trump was wanting to attend an Ohio State game to help his campaign in Pennsylvania. I'm not kidding you. I literally read this thread. She said he is attending an Ohio State game to help his Donald Trump is trying to go to Ohio State game to help his campaign in Pennsylvania. Again, I'm not making this up. This was a claim made by her. So these theories I just shut down. I'm like, you guys need to just shut up.
Well, yeah.
But let me tell you this. Just like a detective would when it comes to examining a crime scene and seeing the bits of evidence. Actually, it's like the game Clue. It's just like Clue. You have the what is it, like the wrench, a gun,
there's a gun, lead pipe, wrench, candlestick, rope.
Precisely.
And
So
a knife.
how do you
How
do you solve that game? It's you'd say, okay, it's this weapon, it's this scene, it's this location. Just like a detective would do that in real life or in the game Clue. Anytime I see things in the political world and I'm taking bits of information and I'm seeing where it leads back to, I'm going to make that conclusion. I don't care whose feelings I hurt. If I say, gee, this thing leads back to the corrupted Democrat establishment side. Oh, this thing leads back to the corrupted Republican or Republican establishment side. I will say it, and I don't care who I piss off. If I lose subscribers for saying this, so be it. I will say it. I'm honest. I don't care who it is. But let me tell you this, just like I said with Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to say this now. Now, by the way, I've made it clear too, I don't think Israel killed Charlie Kirk, but I am seeing some stuff that leads back to Israel, but that's neither here nor there. Now what I'm seeing about Venezuela is once again leading back to Israel, and some of the stuff you researched, you said you wrote this stuff down, does involve Israel in some way.
That was with the Somali, the
Oh, and so it's not Venezuela?
Venezuela doesn't necessarily lead back to Israel.
Well, Marco Rubio said that, what was he, the secretary? What is he, the secretary? I don't pay
Secretary
attention.
of State.
I really don't like Marco Rubio. I never did. When he picked up, I'm like, oh, you dumb fuck. But, but he did say that this regime change is good for Israel.
Yeah, it's good because Maduro, who they're trying to basically displace, that's why it's a regime change war or whatever you want to call it. They call it like just an insurgents, but I mean it's war. Like what you did, you're bombing, you're killing civilians. I mean, you basically are at war with Venezuela, and they do it so nonchalantly, meaning the Trump administration, where they're like, oh, we're, Mr. President, what are you going to do with the boat that you confiscated? I'm just going to keep the oil. Like, what are you doing? Wait a minute. This is like literally you're declaring war on a country for what reason? And if you follow the footsteps back, it's all BS. The root cause of what's going on over there, our interest in Central America and now South America, it 100%, and this is where Israel's involvement can come through the back door, because it's a coalition between the United States and Israel in terms of their interest in the precious metals, in the natural resources that are located in those countries. So they have a lithium triangle. It's Argentina, it's Chile, I believe it's Bolivia. All of those countries right next to Venezuela, down in South America, down in that entire region. They have 65% of the lithium on planet Earth located in South America. You don't think that's the reason why we're not getting involved in Venezuelan politics and trying to displace Maduro. He's the most conservative, democratic leader in Venezuelan history. He's been pro support of churches and so on and so forth, anti-abortion. He outlawed credit cards that have over 12% interest rates. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but I'm saying he's a democratic leader for South American countries. By their standard. We're there for the raw resources. We're there for the lithium. We want to control that. Venezuela Like, listen to this. Venezuela has 1.8 times. So let's just round and say it has 2 times. And I'm going to say it like slowly because people are going to understand that. Watch this. I don't care how many people watch this. They have almost 2 times the amount of oil in Venezuela that Saudi Arabia has. Do you know how big an oil reserve that is?
Based on what you're telling me, it's
we're
pretty
getting
big.
involved in Venezuelan politics because we wanna stop, ladies and gentlemen, we wanna stop the fentanyl from coming into this country and killing our kids. That's the biggest lie told to the American public. There hasn't been one weighted ounce of fentanyl that's came from Venezuela. It's all documented. All the fentanyl that comes into the United States, about 85% of it comes from Mexico, 15% comes from China. Like, so we're not dealing with reality. Nobody's telling the truth here. That's why we're involved, because of the natural resources. 65%, wrap your brain around that, of all the lithium on planet Earth, the lithium that's necessary for anything technology-wise, for any battery production, anything, is located down in that, what they call the lithium triangle, those 3 countries right next to Venezuela, who has an oil reserve that dwarfs Saudi Arabia. So we're there for resources. We're not there to protect the kids from fentanyl. That's a lie. We're not there to protect democracy. Doing the same thing that the Democrats did 2020, 2016. We gotta protect democracy.
Or
you know,
you mentioned
it's all BS. They're not protecting democracy.
Well,
They're trying to displace Maduro because Maduro wants to, hey, this is my country, meaning I'm an elected official. I don't need you, Marco Rubio. I don't need you, Don. I don't need you, Pete Hegseth. I don't need anybody telling me what to do and how to run my country. That's why they don't like him. Because he's not going to be bought off, so to speak, so they have access to as much Venezuelan oil as they want. Same thing with those other countries that'll follow suit in Venezuela: Chile, Argentina, Bolivia, Uruguay. They found another oil, what they call sweet crude oil, in I believe it's Uruguay, that dwarfs anything else on planet Earth. There's so many resources down there. That's why we're exploiting the situation. It's all about what? One thing. It's about money. Money equals power. Power equals the egos of men. That's all he's doing. Trump knows this. He doesn't have to do this.
He's all about the ego.
I thought we weren't going to start any more wars.
I thought we were getting involved in regime change.
Yeah.
He was on Tim Pool's show in 2024. I think it was, what was it, August, July? It was one of those 2 months, I think. And he even said, Dave Smith's pointed this out in his own podcast and other shows that he's been on, and he mentioned the fact that Trump has said, I don't understand why we're getting involved in these stupid wars. And then on top of that, and then what you mentioned, like, we're here to protect the kids. You know who said that? W. Bush and Dick Cheney said this shit. They all said, we're doing to protect the kids. And no, you're not. You're here for money and power, you assholes.
This is what I want in the audience, no matter how big it is, how small it is. One thing for them to realize by us talking about whatever subject it may be, about movies, it's just to open you up to new ideas, new information. Same thing when we talk politics on this show.
Yeah.
I just want to open people up to new, and to the idea of one thing. This is not a left or right issue. This is a top-bottom issue. These are billionaires taking care of billionaires.
Probably the one statement Crystal Ball
and
said.
everybody else is going to be poor. There's going to be no middle class in another decade of this nonsense. They keep taking power from other countries. They keep building their power. Look at that, the billionaire, the Jewish guy. His last name's Kramer. I forgot how to pronounce his first name. He owns.
It's not David.
He owns.
Cosmo.
I know, Cosmo from Seinfeld. His last name's Kramer. He's a billionaire. He just went.
Still gotta watch that show.
He just went on CNBC 2 days ago.
You said MSNBC or
MSNBC or MSNBC. He went on there 2 days ago. They have him on there, and then nobody asks him a question because, he's a billionaire CEO of I think it's called Checkpoint. It's a cyber communication company that it provides firewalls, all sorts of stuff. But basically,
sounds like cybersecurity.
He has the support of the Trump administration, and going forward in his country, in Israel, where they censor all the information, and he's recommending that they take the same technology, the same software that he is a billionaire owner, and all social media should be censored in the United States. And the people on the
MSNBC,
who
does this sound like? This sounds like the big tech companies under the Biden administration.
It's nothing different. That's what I mean. It's not a left-right issue. He's on there talking, and he's like, yeah, sometimes you have to give up a little bit of your First Amendment rights in order for us all to be safe. That's literally his quote. And I'm like, what is going on? They gave him no pushback on the panel. They were like, you know what? That is a good idea.
You know who this sounds like?
You don't want anything anti-Semitic because he's a representative.
I don't know who this woman's.
What?
I don't know who this woman's name is, but when talking about anti-Semitism, I just saw this 4 days ago. I don't know if I'm gonna look as I'm, telling you this. I just saw one again. I don't know if I retweeted this or something like that, or if I just saw it. I didn't retweet it. Probably would have been in my interest to. Right here. I did retweet it, and it says, Meta's head of Jewish diaspora, Jordana Cutler or whatever the hell you pronounce her name. She used her role to secure specific protections for Israelis and Jews. We ban content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media.
100%.
I'm like, so you're saying you censor people for having an opinion? Like,
no.
We need to. You're not entitled. No, the First Amendment.
You're not allowed to do that.
Who was it? Didn't John Kerry or someone else said the First Amendment doesn't protect you your right to be anti-Semitic?
Correct.
Or something like that?
John Kerry. You're right.
Was it John Kerry? I swear it was someone else, but I know he said some bad takes. He's had some bad takes with the First Amendment.
He's had some really bad takes.
I mean, yeah,
especially when they question him on certain spending on his aircraft. He was using government aircraft.
But it's like these people are just openly admitting, you shouldn't be allowed to say certain things. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't get to tell me what, as long as I'm not inciting violence, you don't have any right. Say, I was just getting into an argument, my friend, she's fairly moderate. I'm not going to put her business out there. I'm not going to say her name. She's, I think, I would call her a moderate, libertarian-leaning centrist. She's very good at calling it the Democrats, and she'll say it's not okay when Republicans do this or whatever. That's just the way she struck me. And one of the people were saying, it's a private platform. They're allowed to do what they want. The First Amendment doesn't protect you from that. I'm like, why don't you stop making the arguments for these big tech companies that are trying to find ways to censor your voice? Just like when they say, Facebook's private, First Amendment doesn't protect you, whatever. I'm like, Facebook lost that right. The idea of being a private company, when they colluded, when the FBI colluded with them, Mark Zuckerberg literally admitted this on the Joe Rogan podcast, saying, the FBI told me to censor the Hunter Biden laptop because of Russian disinformation, and to ban the big tech companies. All admit the CIA and the FBI told the companies to ban Trump off of the social media sites. I'm sorry, that's not a private company. That's not a non-violation of the First Amendment. That is the government overreaching to ban your right to have an opinion. That is a violation of the First Amendment. You don't get to claim that you have a private ownership when you are engaging in governmental censorship. I'm just going to point this out right now. Okay? Just full stop right there. I'm getting tired of these. And then they say, it's a problem when Trump and the FCC were being used to censor Jimmy Kimmel. I'm like, okay, let's say just create this. I don't give a damn about Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, if it's censorship, that's a bad thing and whatever, and I think he's stupid and not funny anyway. But it's like, don't try to say, oh, it's bad when the FCC does it, but it was okay for the FBI and the CIA to go to a social media company and ban the sitting president of the United States. Again, not a Trump supporter right now, right here, but that is insane.
That's disgusting.
I would be scared to death.
It's anti-American.
If Facebook decided to ban the Biden administration from speaking, full stop, I'd be terrified. But that's just
you can't do that. That's not what there's documentation. The things are put in place, so we're different than anywhere else in the world. And now you're going to tear all that down because of one country that has 8 million people. It's a tiny ass country. It's not even the size of freaking. I mean, what's the comparative size? It's smaller than Maine in the United States.
You're talking about Israel?
Yeah, I'm like, what? I mean,
well,
they're not the root cause of everything, but I mean,
no, they're not. But they have an influence on our politics.
We make our own bad decisions in government.
We literally have an entire establishment dedicated. They dedicate 1 day out of the week, and that's me being generous here. They dedicate an entire week, at least 1 day out of the week, to a conference talking about Jewish people and anti-Semitism. Right. It's like, try to tell me right now how Israel doesn't have any involvement here. That's like saying, Fletcher, imagine if I were in political power and I dedicated an entire day out of the week, every week of the whole year, and it was, excuse me.
Oh boy.
Man, I was on a roll there. And I just dedicate an entire week or a day out of the week dedicated to talking about how we need to stop hating Hispanics. You would find me to be foolish when talking about that.
Oh, well, it's just nonsense. But I mean,
I'm sorry. Look,
what's happened over the last couple of years is
two
crazy.
things can be true at the same time, or in this case, 10. Yes, anti-Semitism is terrible. Racism, I'll agree with the right. Anti-Semitism is absolutely horrible. I'll agree with the left. Racism is a terrible action. We should not be having prejudice towards anyone. By the way, the right, you say anti-Semitism is bad. Stop hating on the Muslims or the Arabs that are just trying to live their daily lives in America. But then the left, you say it's bad to be racist. Okay, then stop being racist towards fucking white people. What the hell, guys? I don't understand why these people can't hold themselves to a standard while holding others to a standard. This is why I got involved in politics. Because one side said, it's not okay if they do it, but it's okay if we do it. I'm like, not going to happen.
No, it shouldn't happen regardless. You stick to the rules that built the country. We're a free nation. Yeah, some people are going to say some idiotic and terrible things. Evil things. They have the right to say it.
People celebrate Charlie Kirk's death. They weren't going to get arrested for it. We will call out those people. I don't think you should be arrested for it.
You just can't play with that. It's the number one. It's number one on the list for a reason. You have to have freedom of speech in a culture, in a country, in order for the rest of the domino effect to occur in freedom taking place throughout society. You can't cherry pick some things. You can't call that person, you can't demean or say anything negative about Zionists. You can't do this. You can't. No, it is what it is. It's free speech, period.
I'll end on this note. I'm glad you bring up the free speech thing. I'll end on this note. I like what this quote said. I forget who said it. Heard it on a podcast that Brett Weinstein was on. I don't know. I forget the name of the man. It's a good podcast. I know I watched him on another thing at some point. But I like what the dude said to Brett Weinstein. He says, free speech is... He was quoting another guy, but I'm just going to say what he said. Free speech is where ideas can die so our bodies don't have to.
It's a terrific quote.
Do you have anything to add to this, honey?
Mm-mm.
No. She was giving us the signal that it's about time to wrap up. We'll come back next week. There'll be some more information that comes out.
Yeah.
We were going to talk a little bit about the Somali, that whole child care scandal that's been unearthed by an individual, a young kid. He's 23, 24, 25 maybe. His name's Nick Shirley. It's fascinating. It's been going on a while, but he just kind of reopened the Pandora's box of what's going on with this, and it's billions of dollars that are being fraudulently taken from U.S. taxpayers, especially in the state of Minnesota, in the St. Paul, and especially the Minneapolis child care scandal of these fake business fronts that are collecting $1.5, $1.9, $2.5 million a year of taxpayer money for a business that doesn't even exist. It's just it's pure insanity, and Israel is tied to that one. And I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not sitting here saying there's anything wrong with Jewish people. I'm saying the Israel government led by Benjamin Netanyahu is corrupt. It's disgusting what they're doing in Gaza, the whole Palestine situation. And the more you dig on this guy, meaning Netanyahu and all the other governmental members in Israel's government, you just find nothing but corruption, and it's bad. So,
Absolutely
anyways,
terrible.
That's a story for next week.
First
Hope you guys
episode
enjoyed.
Episode 2026. Down in the bucket right now.
Down in the bucket. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, I would love if you guys could just, every time we talk about something, just realize this is a top-bottom issue. It's not left, it's not right, it's not libertarian,
We're
it's not
all in
moderate.
this.
It's a top-bottom issue. We have a bunch of bureaucrats, we have a bunch of billionaires, millionaires that have confiscated. They haven't taken it like through channels, like legal channels. They've confiscated power, and they're going to continue to do so until we, the people, do something about it. And
Guys,
it sounds revolutionary, but it's reality.
People on the left and people on the right. I'm going to quote Cenk Uygur. I think he quoted another guy, or maybe this is his own thing, but I do agree with this statement. I know it sounds like I agree with Cenk Uygur on a lot of things. Believe me, I don't. I probably only agree with him about 5% of the time, but there is one of the 5%. Here's something I agree with, which is we're all on this ship, and you can't steer the ship without both sides. So we need your help. We need to get this message out there. If you guys have any useful information, please shoot your comments down in the comment section.
Right.
And that's going to be very useful information, not just for us, but the audience that watches us, the 5, 10, 20 people that watch us on a daily, weekly, maybe even monthly basis. So thank you guys for tuning in. Happy New Year, and we will see you next time.
We'll see you on the next podcast.